Why are fiddle leaf figs so popular? Like, I get it, but they a little extra. I think if I was a plant, I'd probably be a fiddle leaf fig too. So today we're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about watering, placement, and plant food. Just a little backstory on the fiddle leaf figs that I have right here. This one is one that I purchased, I want to say back in like January, February, and when I purchased her, she was about like 3 feet tall, and now she's close to like 4 foot and 10 inches, maybe almost as tall as me. Probably a little shorter, probably like 4'5" because I do still look over top of her, so yeah. And this one is one that I inherited, and if you've watched my past videos, you would know that when I took her in, she was a very, very sad soul right at this height, and I would move her, but I'm not gonna move her right now. She came in at this height and she was neglected at my friend's house, and sorry if I go on blast, but let's talk about watering. On the internet and a lot of things that my friends do, it recommends that you water your fiddle leaf fig 1 time a week and you give it like a cup of water. That's actually what my friend was doing with this. This one, on the other hand, she has been receiving about like 2.5 cups of water every, I want to say 2 to 3 days. So I use this right here. It's like a little vase from IKEA, and I would fill this up to the top, and I would just like kind of fill up her little pot all the way until like the water surface and then drop down. And then as I noticed she started growing, I would do the waterfall effect from top down. And so it would be like maybe 1.5 of these for this one. When this one came, when I inherited it, I started out with half one of these so I didn't overwhelm her. But as time went by, I would give her almost a full one of these. So why do I overwater? I overwater because the weather here is pretty seasonal. So our summers are very, very humid, which is good for plants because it traps the heat and the moisture. The second reason why I overwater my plants is because since I am in a higher altitude and I do live in an apartment that has like direct sunlight, what I normally do is leave them out in the sun, and it kind of drains a lot out of the plant. So my view on it, I'm no plant expert. I do know that my plants have been thriving in my apartment, and I tend to overwater just because I know that I don't have any air conditioning in my apartment. I leave the windows open at all times, and it can be either super, super dry, or it can be very, very humid in here. And you know, when it is super humid, I tend to lay off the watering a little bit. Maybe I wait a day or two and let everything like completely dry out. But for the most part, the overwatering has been successful for me. Okay, so placement. This fiddle leaf fig, she is placed in direct sun, and I believe the window that she is facing is an east-facing window, so she gets like optimal sunlight all day. This one right here, she was also in the same window, but I saw that she was starting to burn a little. I decided to actually put her off in the corner because I feel like she was too stressed, because when I got her, you know, she was very, very dry and brittle, so I didn't want to exhaust that. You know, since being in that corner, she's actually grown like these 2 really top heavy leaves, so it has definitely worked. The reason why I put them in direct sun is because fiddle leaf figs are known to thrive outdoors and thrive in nature. If you didn't know, fiddle leaf figs are parasites. Well, that's what I read on the internet. They're parasites because if you take the fiddle leaf fig and you plant it in the ground in soil that is shared with another plant, eventually the roots will expand and take over and just kind of eat those other roots. So those trees, I don't know if they necessarily become fiddle leaf figs or if they just kill those roots, but it was weird. I will link the article that I found it at in the description below. But yeah, so I have 2 parasitic murderous plants in my apartment right now. Okay, let's talk about plant food. So I normally fertilize all of my plants every 2 to 3 weeks, but I use a regular store brand like plant fertilizer. It's like probably like $5 a bottle, and I just mix that in this space right here with a lot of water. So I probably do maybe 3 tablespoons of plant fertilizer or 3 pumps for the entire like 2.5 to 3 cups of water that's in there. And what I do is I normally give half of that to this Fiddle Leaf Fig and the other half for this Fiddle Leaf Fig, and I normally perform that on watering days. So overall, I definitely recommend anyone to get a Fiddle Leaf Fig because they're super easy to maintain if you have like really good sunlight in your apartment. You know, just be mindful of how much you're watering it. You know, start out slow, but over time, like give it some love, give it some extra stuff. If I had to be honest about which Fiddle Leaf Fig I liked more, I like the way that this one looks, but I like how thick this one is. So, and I love thickness because I'm thick. Do you think she's thick? I think she's thick. So, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, definitely leave them down below. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. You guys can catch me on Instagram at I'm Just Zoe. But yeah.